What's up, everybody? This is Kevin with Hunt Nashville, and we have not been very good about posting podcasts in the last couple weeks. I've been gone on the road with Runaway June, been working a lot. Jared's been super slammed with construction and everything going on, but we decided to do a remote phone call interview. And I'm going to call Jared right now to see if we can make this happen. Jared's in my favorites. He's my buddy. I'd say he's more of my favorite when it's closer to some type of deer season or hunting season. Hey, Jared, are you in red? Are you recording? He's not recording right now. I'm live, but Jared... Okay, Jared is currently hooking up his microphone.
How are you the one that's more prepared for this than me?
I was just out back burning trash, and Jared's like, we have to get on the podcast. And I was like, ran down to my basement, plugged up my computer, and I'm ready to go. And I'm sitting here waiting. He's on the phone, but he does not have his microphone ready. What you need
right
is
now.
Some paying gigs.
All right, hang on. I'm going to go close my office door. My microphone's running. Hang on. I'm going to turn the fan off. This is going to be, we're going to get good, solid audio quality here. Mine will be nice and clear. I'll just have to cut all your audio out. The whole podcast will just be me talking.
Everybody's used to that.
Yeah. Oh, come on now. That's a low blow. That's a low blow.
No, well, I think we got it going, though. So
yeah.
This is our first ever mobile, well, I would say remote phone-in interview.
Right, even though we're only like 30 minutes away from each other.
Right, exactly.
But with families, it's difficult.
It is very tough to carve out the time that we can both meet up and do an hour-long interview. So we decided, I listen to talk radio all the time, and you know, they'll do a phone interview that sounds terrible, and that, you know, I listen to that. It's really entertaining. So why don't we try a remote interview?
Yeah.
And we'll see if it works.
Yeah, why not?
But,
it could work. I've got do you have a ice cold beverage in front of you?
I do have an ice cold beverage of
what is
the
your drink of
the
choice
adult
tonight?
flavor. I'm drinking an IPA.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds nice.
It's
I've got a old
Sierra Nevada.
Oh, there you go. That's a solid one.
Yeah.
I've got a glass of Old Smoky salted caramel whiskey, and it's good, but it is super sweet. It was my Father's Day gift from my wife, and it is super sweet. So if you get it, water it down just a touch, and then it's perfect.
Ah, I got you. So that's one you don't want to have too much. The hangover would be horrible.
Yeah, because it's like, it's all sugar and everything. Yeah, but it's nice.
Right.
So, well, yeah, I mean, so I since I'm coming into this late, how much setup did you give the folks?
Just a little bit. Just basically, I talked about the remote, interview that we decided to do, but we've both been super busy. That's about it. But I don't even know what we're going to be talking about this week.
Yeah,
What's on the agenda?
I don't know. I think I was thinking about it just a minute ago as I'm sitting in my pajamas in my office at the house, and I was thinking might just do a quick little recap of turkey season. I don't think we got a chance to do that. The last podcast we did, I interviewed Jules McQueen and Daniel Lee Martin at their place just south of town, and had a really good time. That one was really good, but you and I haven't done one either together or gotten together since and talked about our turkey season and how it went and how everything, anything we learned, because you always learn something during turkey season no matter how many years you've been doing it, because those stupid birds seem to outsmart us on too regular of a basis. It's a little bit sad.
Mm-hmm.
So what?
That's very true.
So a quick synopsis. How was your season? I know how your most successful hunt went because I was there. But how was the rest of the season leading up to that?
Well, the entire season was great. I mean, I really had a good time hunting. As far as the amount of turkeys on the ground, it's not my best, and I don't think it's your best either this year. But I still had a great time. It started out with me and Jacob Calloway. I was hunting at his house, and he's got a small property that's down in Leapers Fork area in Tennessee, and it's actually only 30 acres, but it's positioned in this perfect spot where his house sits up on top of this ridge, and the turkeys love to fly down into his yard and kind of strut and everything, and they walk over the top of his mountain. They just use it as a travel corridor and stuff.
Right.
And so it's a really good spot to set up and hunt turkeys and stuff. And this year we've killed birds there every year we've hunted. And so this year me and Jacob were talking, and we were like, man, we ought to set up and try and do a double bow kill from a blind. And I was really pumped about it. It was the second week of season because I was on the road with Runaway June when I started, that turkey season. But,
right.
But yeah, everything was looking good when we got there. Got there plenty of time, and called the birds. They came in. I mean, it was like the hens came right in. They flew down, came in like they were supposed to, and we're talking like 20 minutes after the hens, not even, maybe 10 minutes. The gobblers just filed right in.
Wow.
And they ran into them, and so me and Jacob couldn't both fit in this blind because it was like one of those Ameristep smaller blinds you get from Walmart.
Right.
And so what we did was set up behind the blind and just open up all the windows, and we were in full camo, so if the bird did look our way, we had some good back cover with some woods behind us and stuff. But I actually shot straight through the blind as these gobblers came in, and I stuck one. I saw the arrow go in and out, and the thing hopped up and just flew off. I don't know where I hit it, but it was just a flesh wound, if you will. Probably some of that
wound.
Yeah, exactly. Some of that breast meat is all I hit, I think. And the vitals on a turkey are just not very big, and so I wasn't shooting. I've seen those, those like headhunter or neck chopper,
right?
Broadheads you can get for your bow.
The gobbler guillotine.
Yeah, I didn't have those. I was shooting a Rage, but still.
Yeah, that's why I'm like leery of bow hunting for turkeys. Just personally, is I've seen so many turkeys get away. Just even like your experience, because I've only ever shot. I'm trying to think if I've ever even shot a turkey with a bow. I've missed plenty of turkeys with a bow during archery deer season. I don't think I've ever shot one, but I know lots of people that have shot them, and just like, it's like the arrow is perfectly placed, but somehow magically they just get away and either survive or go off and die where you can't find them.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's probably the third gobbler that I've lost with a bow.
Wow.
And with a shotgun, I've only missed maybe 2 birds.
Yeah.
I don't know, and all the times I've hunted. And that's 17 years of hunting turkeys.
Right, exactly.
It's like,
yeah, I think I just clean missed one time when we were hunting that Dixon 50 property that we had, that you had for a few years that we hunted a lot, and I missed a bird at 15 yards. And then I promptly went out that year and got glasses, and I haven't missed one since, luckily.
And that was the year before. Here's a little backstory. Me and Jared would always hunt together, so one guy would be filming, one guy would be hunting. And I just happened to notice that I would be like, there's a deer right there. And Jared would be like, where? And I'd be like, right there. And he's like, where? I don't know, like, are you behind a tree or something? Anyway, we figured out that Jared was actually very nearsighted and the whole time, and had missed a couple deer in the process.
Yep.
But then once he got glasses, it was like time to slay some deer, because he, at that point, started racking them up.
Yeah, I haven't missed a deer since. I lost, like, I go back and think, and like I feel bad to a certain extent, like it was just out of my either laziness or I just didn't want to wear glasses. I just didn't want to be a dude that wore glasses. But I lost with a bow, I lost I lost 3 deer the year before I got glasses with a bow because I made bad shots. No, I take that back. I lost 2 deer. I missed 1 clean. I did not kill a deer that year because I thought my eyesight was good enough, but then I got glasses and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so much better.
Yeah, and one of those bucks was the biggest buck that you'd ever had a chance to
for sure
to draw on. I think.
Oh yeah, no, that was depressing.
And your wife was in the tree.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. That was depressing. So yeah, I highly suggest if you're missing any shots or making bad shots, just go to the optometrist, get checked out. You never know. Glasses can definitely help you. And it's just amazing. Yep. Like that year I got glasses, I went out to the public land spot. We turkey hunt a lot, and I was walking down this power line and came over a hill, and I saw something moving at like 350 yards away. I mean, it was forever away, and I'm like, that's a turkey. And sure enough, I saw a hen walking up the hill, and I'm like, I never would have seen that bird a year ago. Like, never would have seen it. Like, I would have had no clue it was even in the vicinity. So I just think of all those, like, several years I hunted, like, how many animals that just walked right past me that if I didn't hear them, I had no clue, so...
Oh, I'm just glad you didn't mistake me for an animal.
Well, we talked about that in a podcast not too long ago that I got mistaken for an animal just about. I got my ass shot during turkey season one year. So, yeah, luckily I haven't done that yet.
Yeah, well, I didn't pull the trigger.
No. So and you...
Well, thank the Lord.
Yeah. Exactly. So you went out with our buddy Jamie Braun and he shot a turkey. That was out on public land, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was a public spot. I'm not even going to say where it is because it's really small and y'all are not allowed to hunt there.
That's right.
It's mine. But it's like 10 minutes from my house, and I had seen these gobblers flying in, and that they just would never land in the right spot. As you know, when you're hunting turkeys, you'll set up on one side of the field and on the other. Well, this time, I decided to wait a little longer to see if I could call them off the field rather than try to go set up. And I think that was what allowed us to connect that day. We'd cross this creek, and then I popped up, and I could see him out in the middle of the field, but there was some smaller toms that were hanging back. There was these bigger toms that were right on the heads, but there was it was like 10 hens and it was like 6 gobblers. And so I put my mouth call in, and I held my decoy up, and because we were down at the edge of this field a little bit, and it was kind of a raise there where the top of the field was, and I just cut really hard, loud, probably two to three times, and I just shut up. And Jamie had his binoculars up, and his birds were about 200 yards away, and he told me, he's like, they just looked really hard. They turned around and looked at us, and I was like, dude, sit down, get ready. And because they started, and then he said they started walking our way. And so you know how it is when Jared, we've been in that position where you sit down and you're blind at that point.
Yeah.
Until the birds, if you sit down, you're going to be blind until the bird shows up. And so many times we've made the mistake of, waiting 5 minutes and then not seeing anything. We're like, well, I guess they moved off.
Right.
I guess we were jump up and check it out. Well, this time I was like, I'm not going to make that mistake again. And I just started calling lightly. And Jamie, this was his second year turkey hunting, and he motioned. He's like, I think we need to move. And I was like, dude, don't. He's like, get your gun up. And I mean, it wasn't like a minute after that they popped up over the top of the hill and came. I mean, they were on a beeline straight for us, and they came within 5 yards of us, and they would have walked in our laps if we wouldn't have shot, because they were like,
that's awesome.
But it's amazing. Yeah, it's amazing how much a turkey can pinpoint your location without even seeing anything, because we were in the in the shadows of everything. I don't think they really saw my hand decoy.
But they just knew exactly where that sound came from.
Yeah, they're from 200 yards away, and they were just beeline. They were walking into the barrel of the gun.
Well, and it seems like turkeys are always that way. Like they either get there way before you were ready for them, or they take forever and you never think they're going to get there. It never seems to be any in between. Like, oh yeah, he got there in exact amount of time I thought he was going to. Like I can think of a lot of hunts where like you get on a tom who's maybe coming off a hen or he's coming right off the roof, and all of a sudden like you call a little bit and he's in front of you. And then I can think of other times where like you see a turkey 200 yards away, he's by himself, and you call and you call and you call and you don't think he's coming, and you stand up and he's 50 yards away. He was about to close that last 10 yards and you just got impatient. So it's good that you guys sat it out and actually waited for him. It paid off for sure.
Yeah, that one paid off. Jared, you remember that hunt we did with Justin Chipper, who's a steel playing buddy of ours that we got to get on the podcast.
For sure. Hey, did you see he was, side note, did you see he was nominated for Steel Player of the Year as the ACMs? Or that's insane. That's so awesome.
Yep.
I'm so happy for him.
Congratulations to Justin Chipper.
Yeah, for sure. He deserves it. He's an incredible player.
Yeah, he played for Josh Turner, and then he started doing studio work, and then he got the call to play for Shania Twain, and then he started to get more and more studio work and decided to leave Shania Twain.
Which is a big decision, yeah.
Yeah, that's a hard decision. And that first year that he had left Shania, he was like, what am I doing? Why did I leave one of the biggest country artists of all times?
Right.
But it paid off, and
for
he's
sure
been playing on everybody's songs right now. So.
Yeah, well, it's nice to see. It's always fun to see like really talented friends like get recognition. Like I don't know. I just get super happy when I see any of our buddies like get nominated for something or just get some recognition or even get to play on a major record or something like that. It's always fun to see because like you they're good people and they're obviously super talented, but even more important, they're good people. It's nice to see good people, good things happening to them. So, but anyways,
and he's a hunter.
And he's a hunter, exactly. So yeah, finish that. So finish that story about because I remember that hunt we were on. We were out at a farm that's like an hour and a half west of Nashville that we've hunted for. I guess I've been hunting there for about 10 or 12 years or so. I've been hunting there for a while, but there never were any turkeys, and so for some reason that year there was a bunch of birds there.
Yeah, and we got to go back there and try it again this coming year. But yeah, that day. We had set up on some birds. They went the other direction, like they so often do. Mm-hmm. We decided to circle the property, and we came to this kind of horseshoe-shaped end of a field. And one of the legs of that horseshoe, we heard a gobbler answer us, and we decided to get down this ditch and see how close we could get to him. And both me and Jared were like, "Oh, it's about to happen." But we didn't realize that we didn't tell Justin, he had never hunted turkeys. We didn't tell him to have his gun ready.
Right.
So that was a big learning experience for us as like guides. Not that we're necessarily hunting guides,
right. But we play guide a lot.
Yeah, we take our buddies. That's everybody does. But you got to tell them every step of the way when to be in full on, attack mode. Have your gun ready, because sometimes guys will think that they'll have 2 seconds to put your gun up, but when a turkey's coming in and at high alert, a lot of times you don't have that 2 to 3 seconds to pull your gun up. You have to have it on your knee, ready to go. So anyway, that bird came in. We waited, and just as I told Justin to go up to the edge of the field and look down the tree line, Justin started crawling, and the bird popped up around the corner and totally busted him, and the bird flew off.
That's the crazy thing about that whole hunt is I was back in the woods maybe 30 or 40 yards filming, and I couldn't really see any more than y'all could, but I went back and looked at the footage because I was just pointing it in the general direction of Justin, thinking if the bird popped out, he'd get a shot and I'd get the footage. And I went back and looked at the footage, and you went to tell Justin something, like tell him to cross the creek or whatever, and he turned and looked at you. The second he turned and looked at you, the turkey walked across the only gap Justin would have seen him walk across until he got behind a big like oak tree. And so he turned and looked at you, the turkey crossed the gap, and when Justin turned back around, the turkey was behind the tree. So he had no idea. He was only 15 yards from him. I mean, he was right in front of him. And so as soon as he took a big step across that creek, and the turkey busted out of there.
So what you're saying, it's all my fault.
No, it's not all your fault. You guys, I mean, that's the honest truth, is like you guys really didn't do anything wrong. Like we were set up in a spot that wasn't conducive to killing that turkey. It was so thick, you really had to get closer to the edge of the field to be able to get a shot. But it's just insane sometimes, like, call it fate or bad luck, or call it a turkey's infinite wisdom and their small pea-sized brain, as like he knew the exact moment for some reason to cross that opening was when none of us were looking at him. Like we were all paying attention to what the next move was. So yeah, there's a lot of that turkey hunting, especially when you film. You go back and look at stuff and like, man, the timing sometimes is impeccable, and that goes for successful hunts as well. Is sometimes just like the timing is like, how did that happen? And it was just really good timing. Some people call it skill, but I think I call it a lot of just luck.
Yeah, that's you got to have a lot of luck to connect with a bird. Yeah. And a lot, it's all about that. We've said it in many of our podcasts, but it's all about that chess match of figuring out what the next move of the bird is going to be. Exactly. You got to be a good caller, because you don't want to spook a bird. But I don't think that's your end all be all.
Exactly.
Is calling, because if you listen to hens, there's not one hen that sounds exactly like another hen.
I've heard some awful hens.
Yeah, I mean, like textbook calling does not necessarily sound like a live hen all the time, and so I think it's a combination of heading them off at the pass, pretty much as Roscoe Peacock would train. Roscoe Peacock train?
Yep.
Yeah, that's it.
Roscoe Peacock train.
Gotta head him off at the pass. But yeah, it was. This season was really. I mean, I spent a lot of time in the woods. I don't feel like I overhunted. And if you ask my wife,
I was gonna say ask Alyssa that.
I try to have that balance of me being here.
Right.
And, not
and you're
too much time in the woods, but still being an adequate hunter.
Your schedule allows for it a little more when you're touring a lot. I know you're gone a lot, and obviously that takes away time from your family, but it does open up during the week. Like, you may not have work here in town scheduled, so you're able to just go on a Wednesday morning on a whim, Whereas, like, most guys, I mean, most guys have to schedule either they can go Saturday or Sunday or nothing, or they've got to take off, work, like vacation days or sick days, like call in, quote unquote gobbler sick to go. So that's the good thing about being a musician is every once in a while you do get an advantage of like, I'm home from Tuesday to Thursday and I don't have anything booked. I'm just gonna go hit the woods.
So that is the truth. Well, so I'm trying to think of after that. I think my next time of actually connecting with a bird was the last weekend of season with you.
Yeah, we had not hunted together in, what, did we figure 4 years?
I think it was 3.
3 years. We had not turkey hunted together in 3 or 4 years, give or take a little bit. We had deer hunted some together, but even then we haven't deer hunted a lot. We only deer hunted together once last year, and that's the morning we killed 3 deer that morning.
Which is hard to believe because we had a show on the Pursuit Channel,
right?
That was through Tom Bob, and all this stuff going on online, and the two guys, Double Trouble Hunting, haven't even hunted together.
I know, it's
in
sad.
The woods at the same time.
I know,
in 3 to 4 years.
It's
crazy.
Ridiculous. Well, we picked up. I saw your dad. So Kevin's dad, Earl. I work with him some. I work with Kevin some too, but I work with Earl some, or run into him on job sites and stuff doing construction. And I ran into him like a week later, And I said, hey, how are you doing, Harold? And he said, I heard you and Kevin had some success. And I was like, oh, yeah. I was like, we hadn't hunted together in 3 or 4 years. I said, but we picked up right where we left off. We literally got in the woods, and by 6:45, 6:50, we had already shot 2 birds.
Yeah, that was awesome. Well, it's just like, we take a lot of friends that haven't hunted together a lot, and there was a lot of stuff that we didn't even have to say.
Oh yeah, it was just like
yep, let's just you set up the decoys. I'm gonna sit back here and start calling. There was just like it was old times, definitely.
Well, and it was good. Like I've hunted out at the Henningsens quite a bit, but not nearly as much as you have. So like I remember that morning we had set up, and we got set up on these 3 toms on the edge of the field, and they were gobbling their heads off, but it was just that kind of stuff where they gobble like crazy, and as soon as they hit the ground, they gobble once and they're done. So we were trying to make a game plan on where to go. And, we were talking about, we both wanted to get to the same place, but you and I were kind of talking about getting there different ways. And I was just like, you were like, no, this is the way to go. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to divert to your judgment because you've been here a whole lot more than I have. It's like, I don't have any problem handing over the reins when it comes to like, if you know the land better than I do, I'm not going to argue with you. And it was the right call because we took the perfect route. If we'd have gone the way I wanted to go, we probably would have bumped those birds. So it worked out perfectly. We went up kind of behind the mountain and got out in front of them rather than going right towards where we thought they were. And we popped over the hill, and I put my knockers up, as Stephen Ranella calls them, my binoculars up, and spotted these birds standing on the top of the hill about 175 yards away. And I thought they were just
and the
big.
fog that
oh,
morning
man,
was awesome. It was really cool. Like it was just enough fog where you could like creep around a little bit, but then the wind would blow and it would clear kind of quick, and that's just what happened. The fog cleared as we were glassing that field. And that's when you saw those birds. I didn't see them at first, and then we were like 20 yards apart, and you were like, "Don't move," and I was like, "Where are they?" And then I looked out there, and the fog had cleared, and we just sat down against 2 different trees. At that point,
yeah, we sat down, and they we were about 15 yards away or so at that point, and the closest tree was about another 5 or 10 yards further away from Kevin, so I had to pick that one because they were kind of looking our way. And at that point, I couldn't tell if they were just big hens or jakes or small toms or what they were. And so I just looked at Kevin, and I just said, on 3. And that's all I said, and I just walked away. And that's the benefit of hunting together for, 17 years, is that's the only thing we had to say. And it wasn't even a question of who was going to count. Kevin's the drummer. He gets to keep the rhythm, so he's the one that gets to count.
Right.
And I just literally...
I did count. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, you did. And I didn't even think about counting. I literally just told you on 3, and I walked off knowing that you would take it over from there. And
we didn't even say, like, I'm going to shoot the one on the left,
no.
You're going to shoot the one on the right. It was like we already knew, like, that's what you do.
Yep.
It was like, you take the bird that's on your side if you're going to shoot at the same time.
And those birds took forever to work their way in. I mean, it took them a good, 5 or 10 minutes to actually get into range until I could actually get a clear shot on one. I had a big tree in the way. But, they came right in. Turns out they were very, very young jakes, but they were legal birds, and it was the last weekend of season, and I was desperate at that point, so I wasn't going to let anything pass that I could put a tag on, so.
Absolutely, and they tasted great.
Oh, they were delicious, yeah. We had a little bit, and I'm going to fry up some turkey nuggets this week at some point in time, too.
Absolutely. Man, that when we shot at, the same time, and then my bird got up and started to fly a little bit, and we both unloaded on mine.
I had 3 shells in my gun, and I had 0 shells in my gun when I was done, and I only shot once at my bird. Yeah, I unloaded because I've seen them get away too many times, and I don't even think it was a bad shot. Just sometimes a pellet doesn't land right, but I was just like...
Yeah, it was definitely hit.
Yeah,
because it rolled.
Yeah, he wasn't flying anywhere after I shot him because I hit him right in the wing, I think.
Yeah, there was a couple of pellets in my meat.
Yeah, you had to pick them out of your teeth a little bit there. Well, that's all right. That means it came honest. You didn't get it in the store.
Right. Exactly.
But yeah, so we overall had a good turkey season. Now I guess it's the depressing time to be a hunter. Is you're in the summer months where there's really nothing to hunt. You got some fishing. I'm going out to I'm going to plant our dove field. I'm going to try to go this week. I'm super late. We're in like the middle to end of June, and I still haven't planted our dove field, but I've been looking at some crop dates, and I can plant brown top millet, and it's got 60 days to maturity, so that would put our dove hunt like the second week or the second week or so into September. So I think that'll still be okay. So I'm going to get out to the farm and plant a dove field, and then go out and mow it a couple weeks before season starts. So getting ready for that. But other than that, it's just being depressed that there's nothing to go chase.
Well, I've been having fun working on my pond.
I'm super jealous, finally, by the way.
Oh man, it's so much fun. I can't believe I have a pond still. I'm like pinching myself. But it's an acre pond, and Bobby Wilson has been coaching me on how to maintain a pond. It's a whole learning curve to figure out how to maintain a pond, because this thing was like totally covered with algae when we bought the house, and I had the dream of having it clean. And I had no idea that 1 year later I would be able to walk down and catch about 1 pound bass and not be pulling up a whole, fishing line full of just marsh.
Junk, or like cleaning junk off your hook every time you reel it in. Yeah.
So, I mean, and this is crazy, but like I wanted to do it like the easy way is to just, buy a bunch of copper sulfate and spread it out and everything like that, but you have the risk of killing some fish, and also we have a lot of there's some gooselings, what are they called? Canadian geese,
goslings
that hatched out, and so I didn't want to kill them.
Right.
I was like,
because you can eat them for Thanksgiving. I mean,
exactly.
You don't want to have poison in them.
So I wanted to try and do this as natural as we could without putting chemicals into the water. And so Bobby said, you need to get 15 grass carp. And I was like, 15? That's all? They're going to clean up? He's like, yep, I think that'll do it. And, I mean, when in the spring, I put them in, it was last year, and they were about the size of my hand. And then by this coming spring, when it started to get hot again, the marsh came on. And it started to cover up again, and then I noticed I could see swirling around where I could see the carp swimming, and they started to get bigger. Now those carp are the size of my arm.
Wow.
Within 1 year, and they've totally cleaned up the whole pond.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's organic pond management right there.
Yeah, exactly. And so I'm just going to... I think carp only live about 3 years. And if they'll get to be like 30 pounds or something, so I'm gonna get my my leftover bow and make that into a bow fishing rig.
There you go.
I'm gonna take out some of those carp.
That's all right. I mean, I'm assuming, do they breed and lay eggs, or are those the kind that don't breed?
I don't think they do. I think these are like, because I think when you buy carp, there's certain type of carp that
they're like a strain that doesn't do that, right?
Yeah, because carp can get out of control.
Right.
Like if they're just like, down in Florida they have them like, jumping in your boat.
Oh yeah, well just even out west in the Mississippi River, they're insane in Tennessee, all the way on the west side.
But I will say, talking about like hunting, our land, because we're in a country, we have 5 acres, but it's a lot of farmland around us, and I put corn out last year. Haven't seen many deer, just like a couple does and a spike. But just tonight, I was cooking out, and Alyssa came outside and was like, "There's a deer," and standing like 100 yards from our back deck. There's another spike standing there looking at us, and I was like, "All right,
that's awesome."
So finally, we're getting something coming through here.
Yeah, there you go.
So I'm gonna start. Definitely putting the corn back out and put out the camera to see if there's some other traveling deer that are coming around through. Because if he's hanging out, there might be some others that are coming through.
Yeah, I need to get you some cameras. You can have that whole property covered. I have like 5 of them that are literally just sitting around my house not being used.
Oh, yeah, let's put them out.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, I scored at the end of season. I don't know if y'all have ever been to Walmart.
Oh, come on now. Our audience has definitely been to Walmart, if they're wise.
There is this special aisle that's only, like, you have to really know your way around Walmart to find this aisle, but it's called the clearance aisle.
Oh, yeah.
And it's usually by the garden center.
Uh-huh.
And it'll just be one or two aisles that just has, like, the most random stuff that nobody wanted. And I walked down that aisle right in February, or it was probably more so March.
Right.
And there was 5 bags of Mossy Oak Biologic.
Oh my gosh.
For $3 a bag.
Holy cow, that's cheap.
Yeah, I snagged it quick.
That's awesome.
I mean, that's usually like $25 a bag.
So now your yard is sowed in Biologic.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna plant it like this coming week.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, because I've been waiting, but I think it's time. I want it to be ready for deer season, and I feel like it'll live by last that long.
Yeah, well, you can even plant it in stages if you want to. Plant some and then come back and overseed like 3 or 4 weeks later. That way you get 2 crops coming up.
Mm-hmm. I need to talk to Jimmy Herman about that. He seems to have some pretty good luck with his plots that he's got going right now.
Yeah, that's for sure. That's one thing I need to try to nail down once I actually get a property or a farm of my own that is mine and not leased or borrowed or just used by me. I want to get into that, doing some actually getting hardcore about the food plots and being intentional about soil pH and fertilizer and when to plant, what to plant, and where to plant, all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. I can see where you can get deep into that mess.
Yeah, we've done it in the past on smaller, quarter acre kill zones, as if you call them that,
right?
Kill zone.
Yeah, exactly.
And that works great if you got a hardwoods and you got some spot that there's like a bunch of sunshine that's coming through the trees. That's a great spot to put out a little plot. Because I mean that worked great for us. That Dixon 50 spot we had, the deer were filing in and out of there. That was such a good spot, and it was only a quarter acre.
Yeah, it was tiny. Yeah, it was probably smaller than that. We cleared it out by hand with rakes and a leaf blower.
But it was in the middle of the woods, and these deer felt very safe.
Mm-hmm.
Early season, they did not feel so safe later in the season. I'll say that.
No, they did not. They were not safe later in the season. All right. Well, this will be our first podcast back. We took about a month hiatus, and just took some time. Life got busy, but we'll try to be back weekly here soon. We've got some really cool people we're talking to about bringing in and doing some guest spots, and there'll be some of just me and Kevin. And we'd love to hear some feedback from you guys. Some more feedback about what you want to hear, what you like, what you don't. We definitely do this because we enjoy it, but we don't want to make something that's only for us. We want to do something that has some information you guys like, or we talk to people talk to some people that you guys like as well. So if you want to hear something or want to hear about something, hit us up on Instagram or Facebook. Instagram is now at Hunt Nashville. We decided to go ahead and change over from Double Trouble Hunting. We were getting a lot of questions or a lot of confusion on our identity crisis, whether or not we were Hunt Nashville or Double Trouble or who the hell we were. So it's now Hunt Nashville. We're gonna switch. If I haven't already, I'm going to, or I have already switched our Facebook over. I'm gonna see possibly about switching our YouTube over. I don't know if I'm gonna do that or not. I don't even know if I can. I don't know. I used to be way more technical than I am now, but yeah.
I will say that I think that our new direction with Hunt Nashville, I mean, we've had the idea for a couple years now, and who knows the future, what it could hold, because there's a lot of people that are interested in what we're doing, and we want to thank everyone for listening and tuning in. And we just love the outdoors, and we're just happy to be sharing our experiences and with like-minded people that are out there.
Absolutely.
And upcoming, we've got Morgan Mills. We're trying to connect with her, and she is pretty much the voice of the NRA country, and she does all of their I would say, webisodes and handles a lot of their Instagram feed. And who's someone else we're going to be interviewing? We'd like to connect with Jimmy Herman at some point. We'll call you out right now.
Yeah, we need to reach out to Jimmy. Got a handful of the artists and writers, and that's the thing. Like, it'll be some like it has been in the past. We'll have some times where it's way more music than it is outdoors, but we'll try to incorporate outdoors even into those episodes, even if we have to force it on those musicians. But but it's always gonna have the main push of the podcast and everything we've been trying to do is the hunting side of things, because when it's all said and done, that if we had to give up pretty much everything short of family and God, hunting would be the third thing on our list we'd probably keep around. So.
Yep.
But, all right. Well, I guess that's it. You got anything else you need to say?
I got stung in the hand by a wasp, and my hand is about the size of an oven.
Oh, all right. You're not allergic, are you?
I don't know.
We're gonna find out.
I never thought I was. Hey, what happens if you pour beer on a wasp bite?
Your wasp bite gets drunk. Your hand starts slurring its words. I don't know. Well,
I don't know, but it's.
This right here is the sound of me not having anything else to say.
Right.
That's ice clinking in my glass, which means my bourbon is gone.
I'm serious. My hand is gotten bigger. I wish you could see this.
Oh, you need to take a picture and put it on Instagram. I want to see it. Or send me a picture.
I mean, I've been stung in the face by a wasp and not have it swell up like
maybe
this.
You're in your old age, you're getting allergic.
I don't know, but it's kind of freaking me out right now. It's really itchy.
Yeah.
I'm having trouble seeing right now. My pupils are dilated.
Well, that's probably the IPA, not the wasp sting.
Okay. Probably so.
Probably so. All right, guys. Until next time, we'll catch y'all later. See ya.
Peace out.